Oh.
Oh.
And we're live.
Hello,
everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.
Hello. Let us know if you can hear and see us as always.
Hello.
In the comments, just so we can make sure everything's coming through nice and clearly.
Michelle says hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Sam, cool.
Hi, Sam.
Yay, they can see and hear us. Brilliant.
We're going to give it a minute or two because we've got loads of people joining.
Okay.
Wait a second. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Nick. But yeah, we are here with the lovely Sonia from
Hello.
Destroying Words and Sonia Wide Designs.
Thank you, Lady T. Just to let you know, Sonia, I wasn't here last week. I wasn't feeling very well.
Yes.
And only a few days ago did I get my voice back. So for anyone in the comments, I haven't had a voice for a week.
Oh, no.
Which has been very interesting in the office.
Are you feeling so much better now?
I am much better now, yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
that's good.
Still a little bit husky, but much better than I was.
We've been doing impersonations of Phoebe and Friends when she got sick. And she's like,
they've been asking me to sing it, but I refused. Yeah, no, I'm all back. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking, everybody.
Yeah.
Jeff said the office will have been a bit quieter.
It was.
You're not wrong, Jeff.
Yeah, I am probably one of the loudest people here, so it was a treat.
I know, yeah. More vitamin C, definitely.
Yes, I should actually.
Sonia, for all the wonderful people here in the community who aren't familiar with you and your work, would you mind introducing yourself and what you're all about?
Yes, so I'm Sonia, so AKA Just Drawing Words. That's my most active Instagram account. So I'm a designer, hand letterer, and illustrator, and I love kind of telling a story, combining the lettering with illustration. So simple way to put it, I draw what I letter, so I always kind of combine the two, complement, kind of like the story. So it's giving you that story, like a full story by combining those two. So that's what I do. And I love doing it.
And Sonia, how long have you been doing like the more recent stuff? Because I know you were doing logos and stuff before.
Yeah, so lettering, it has been a little bit over a year now. So before that, I've been doing more. So now I do a lot of, all the lettering that I do right now is in Procreate. But before that, I did everything in Adobe Illustrator. So I did anything from like branding, logo design to illustrations on Illustrator too. So that's what I used to do before.
Amazing. We've just put your Instagram in the chat, so everyone go check it out. You've been seeing some amazing growth though. I think it's fair to say.
I'm so lucky, kind of so grateful that that's all happening. Yes. Yeah.
It's been pretty awesome to behold. And I mean, I totally could see you getting ridiculously huge with it, but it's been pretty cool to see the early stages of that start to happen. And I always love that point where people start to break out and trying to pay attention to why that's happening and just watch the whole thing growing. And so everyone, Michelle follows you already. If you haven't seen Michelle's work, if you haven't seen Sonia's work, go and or Michelle's
got great work too.
if you haven't seen Sonia's work, go check it out and give her a follow, because I predict in the next like 1 to 2 years she's going to get exponentially bigger than she is even now. And so now is the time to get in there and get to know her before she's getting so many DMs that she can't keep up.
Can I also just ask a quick question to Sam B in the chat? Is that my Sam from Instagram DMs? I recognize the picture slightly. Forgive me if this is not the right Sam whatsoever. But yeah, if that's the Sam that I've been chatting to in Instagram DMs, let me know.
Cool.
Yes, it is. Hello.
Hi, Sam. In fact, let's do
my Sam.
all the hearts. Let's give a quick shout out to everyone who's on with us right now. And then after that, I'd love to hear, Sonia, what you've got lined up for everyone. So, welcome to Suzanne, Lady T, Christoph, Sue, Laura, Nick, Heather, Pam, Pamela, Eleanor, Penny, Rico, Paul. Paul, you're everywhere these days. I love it. Barbara, Deborah, Jeff, Michelle, Alf. Tons of you guys today. Appreciate you tuning in. Got Branch Design, Amelia Harrison, Tatiana, Ginny even, Biggie, Jonathan, Heather, Jay, Hazel, Brenda, Mario, Julie.
That's our Mariana.
Dimitar. Oh, we've got two Marianas.
Two Marianas.
John, Rachel, Dana. I could go all day.
Barbara and
so many of you guys joining. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sonia, what have you got lined up today?
Okay, so I'm gonna maybe start with sharing my Instagram account, and then I get a lot of questions about like my textures on my illustrations and lettering. So maybe I'll just show you how I do that really quick after that. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and you found a way of actually plugging your iPad in, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna share. I think for Instagram, I think it may be better to just share my screen, and then I could quickly switch it to my iPad, and I can show you what I do there.
Which has just blown my mind that you've done this. I'm like, how did you do that?
Tips in the future, right? Okay, let me share my screen. Alrighty.
Pam's listening and lurking at work.
We love a lurker.
Okay, let me know if you guys can see it.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with my other account. So,
are we doing the evolution to kick off with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
sorry, just super quick, like bit of context. Yeah. If you were here on the Hangout with James Lewis, we decided that we're going to do a new series because he took us through his entire Instagram feed from the starting point to where he is today.
I think Bugstrader did that with us too, right?
Yeah, I think he did as well.
He did.
Yeah, and it's always incredibly interesting. I think. Oh, Sonia, are you all right going back on
We've got
one
crazy
at a time?
vortex.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Chatception, Sam said. But yeah, like we've done that a couple of times, and they're always super interesting because you see that evolution from like those early stages. People haven't really found their style; they're kind of inconsistent, and you see it evolve. And I love just seeing like the engagement grow and like how much attention their work goes and their style developing. So we want to make this a bit of a regular thing, and we're going to be turning it into a brand new series. So Sonia, take it away. This is your kind of day one work on it, right?
Yeah, so let us know about the 2 accounts as well, because I don't know if everyone knows that.
Yeah, so I do have a 2 accounts. So when I started with Sonia White Designs, and just long story short, I never went to art school. I was just a full-time working mom, and then I just quit work, and then that's the time when I was kind of like looking into like a hobby kind of thing. So that's when I created this account. So it was just about learning something new. So if you see this picture here, this is the first thing I ever created in Illustrator. It was the tutorial from YouTube. So I just kind of did this as a hobby. That was my start. And then you can see like how horrible this looks. This is my avatar.
I would not be able to do that. I would never be able to do that, honestly.
I've just seen you've got Marie, is it Kondo? How do you say her name?
Oh, yes. So I was reading that. So again,
you were reading the book before the Netflix series came out.
Yes. The thing is, when I just quit work, it was kind of a confusing time for me. So I was kind of like, in a way, finding myself. And one of them was, I always like kind of drawing. So that, it was started out as a hobby. So then I was like, okay, let me just try to learn Illustrator and, like draw. So you can see, I will just grab a picture from like Instagram and just like try to sketch that. So you could see these all doodle happening. And then again, as it was a confusing time for me, this is kind of like my way of expressing like what I was going through. So for example, like I created this mind series at the time where, for example, like I was feeling very complicated and I kind of wanted to. So I think this is kind of similar to what I do today in a way, because I was still kind of pairing the words or phrase with the drawing.
Yeah.
But it was no intention to really show it to the world necessarily. It was more like my own therapy kind of thing.
Yeah, just documenting it for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you could see, I was like, these are all done in Illustrator, and I was practicing Illustrator, plus kind of, it was my outlet to kind of, draw what I was going through. So for this, for example, it's called like, I don't mind, but then it's like a mind, like a heart mind.
Yeah.
And then showing that, right? So you could see kind of that heart series going on. Oh, and then
a lovely thing, and like well done to you for putting yourself out there in that way, even because it's very honest of you to put your feelings out there, whether it's a big audience or not. People are seeing how you feel, which is an amazing thing to do. I know a lot of people struggle with that, so
I kind of want to see you remake these in your new style.
Yeah,
I'm loving the tough line. You've got an actual base, the tough line guy.
Yeah, and then another thing, for example, is like I'm an introvert, so I don't like to be in front of people. So this is kind of a way of me saying like, this is my sweet spot, kind of like blending in with the background kind of thing. So again, like if you see it, I got like 17 likes. Like I didn't really expect any likes or, people to really look at it. But yeah, so I was doing that for a while. And then if you see it, so it's all those practices that I did with Illustrator and then kind of like sketching. Oh, and this is my first attempt to put it on Redbubble. So this is my first time actually like create a sticker.
Oh, cool.
And then I got like 1 like. But yeah, I didn't really care. Nor I didn't even know about that. Like Instagram is something, I guess for me, it was just a way to like express myself and nothing else. That was it.
Yeah, it's
so,
just somewhere you keep your photos, right? Like that's how it started.
Exactly. It was kind of like my own album where I could kind of see my improvement, and it was kind of a nice, good one spot to put all my work in like one place, right?
Yeah.
You weren't chasing likes.
No, I didn't even know that that's something that you do at the time. I was just.
What year was this, Sonia?
This is, oh my goodness. So this one, for example, 2016.
Okay.
So that year was the year I stopped working. I think it was like early March. So then that's when I kind of started. So then I was just, again, exploring with Society 6 and all that. So you could see kind of the heart looking kind of a little bit better than the earlier ones, right?
Does the heart ever make an appearance in your designs now?
It does in a way. Yeah, it does. It's subtle, in a subtle way. It's
Cool.
not too out there, but sometimes you will see that. And one of the projects that I'll talk about later, my passion project, is kind of relating to this too. So we could talk about that more. Okay, so this is the phase where I start doing logo design. And the way it all started is from 99 Designs. So it just blew my mind where anybody could participate in 99 Designs. You didn't have to, like for me, I didn't go to art school. I never like had this like education. So I was kind of like, I was actually trying to sell something in creative market, and they were like, oh, can I see your portfolio? And I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, I don't have one. And then I was listening to this podcast and they go, oh, you could do 99 Designs. You don't need a portfolio. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should give that a try. So that's how the logo design thing all started, because I never have thought that I would create logos. But luckily, the very first contest that I participated, it was for like a children's YouTube channel, like t-shirt design. And I happened to win that very first one.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how it actually, then I kind of gained the confidence. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I earned like $100 at the time. And I'm like, oh, somebody's going to actually like pay $100 for like my design. And so I just kept doing contests. And
is
no,
that us
frozen.
or Sonia?
I don't know. Guys, can you hear and see us?
Mariana, are you still on that by any chance?
Yeah, it's lagging, so it's fine.
You can hear and see us speaking?
Yeah.
How weird. Sorry, guys, if we got technical issues.
Yeah, I broke from me as well.
Oh.
Oh no, Sonia.
Yeah, it's the same for them. Can you guys in the chat hear and see us still?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
Okay.
us too, but not Sonia.
can-
I can see our faces drop with dread then.
Can you hear us as well, guys? Ooh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Let us contact.
We have to think on our feet here. So hopefully Sonia's kind of restarting the router or something. These things happen. Let me just Instagram her.
Oh,
here we go.
oh. Drum roll, please. We're getting lots of yeses. What are we getting yeses to? To being heard.
Yeah.
Okay,
People
brilliant.
can hear us.
I was like, why is everyone saying yes?
Do you want to hear a dad joke while we wait?
Oh, I've already heard it, but you can tell everyone else.
Okay. I once ate a dictionary. It gave me thesaurus throat I've ever had.
My God. I thought you were going to do the other one from the other day, the really lame one. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I've got one for you then. Soon as we're on the dad joke thing
Okay,
now.
go for it while we wait for Sonia.
You know this one. You thought it was funny. So I was in our local supermarket the other day and there was this guy and he was like throwing eggs and like milk, butter around everywhere. Like, how dare he? That did not come from me. That was from my husband.
So you said you didn't like it when he told it. You're owning it now.
I didn't like it when he told it at all.
So, I mean, this is high quality content, guys.
Yeah,
this
thanks
is what
for joining
happens
us for
when
the
we don't
dad
have a guest.
jokes. Look at Jay's emoji. Don't roll your eyes at us, Jay.
Jokes so dumb, only dads tell them. We got to keep them going.
Let me just check. Do you think I need
Divorced,
to...
Sam said.
Yeah, don't worry, Sam. I will.
Yeah, I think Sonia is
Okay,
having
she's
internet
here still.
issues.
So let me see if I need to invite her back. Let's have a look.
Okay, guys, dance. Lady T said.
Lady T. We're not performing monkeys.
Don't quit our day jobs. I'm loving the lack of support here.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Comedy
You're
golds
so
that we're dropping.
supportive.
Yeah, I might Instagram call Sonia in a second.
It
But
did say accepted and connecting just then, but
yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. But yeah, in the meantime, if we can get Sonia back, she does have some really cool stuff lined up. So you'll be amazed at the evolution of her feed, and then after that, she is going to show some of the texturing, I believe.
she is, yeah.
On the iPad,
And
do some
set the
Q&A,
homework for this
set the
week as
homework, all that regular good stuff. Michelle was like, "Hey,
Oh, thanks, Michelle." And Heather. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I might just Instagram call her, see if we can get her on.
Have anyone in the chat got any hilarious dad jokes for us that you can share with everybody?
I asked my grandmother how she's enjoying her new stair lift. She said it was driving her up the wall.
I just can't. I can't deal with them. I'm not too sure, Sam, to be honest with you. Do you know if Sonia does like time lapse with her using Procreate on her Instagram or anything?
Oh, let me check it out.
We'll have a little look. If not, we can definitely tell her to.
Oh, there. Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
I've got the
Oh, my
Instagram
goodness.
for you.
Oh, okay.
We just had some really fun dad jokes whilst we were waiting for you to reconnect.
We're holding the fort. Please
you
put
didn't
the
miss much.
put the attendees out of their misery, because I don't think they were enjoying the jokes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Can you hear us okay, Sonia?
Yes, I can hear you guys. You guys can hear me
Amazing.
okay?
We can, yeah. Did you have a bit in the Wi-Fi or something?
No, so it was so weird. So when I just went out and went back in, it connected. So my Wi-Fi was fine, but it said it wasn't connecting. So I was like, okay, I just closed the box, and then I reopened it and it worked.
Oh, how strange.
So I don't know. I know.
Are you okay to reshare the screen? I think
Yeah, of course.
You're in logo design phase.
I know.
I
Okay.
had a question just whilst you're doing that for you, Sonia. Do you ever do like time lapse of you using the iPad, like filming you?
I do. So there are
your
some
Instagram.
in the Instagram, and then
Cool.
I have a IGTV. I have uploaded like couple. Well, one of them is a tutorial, and the other one. Oops.
Inception. By
There
the way,
you go. I know.
Sam, Sam in the comments, let me know if you've talked to me as well or just SJ, because
Her Instagram's Rat Persona.
I feel
She
like I
leaves
need
a
to check it
lasting
out.
impression. You would remember.
I'm enjoying Sam's comments very
Sam's
much.
hilarious. I love her.
Yeah. Cool. Take it away, Sonia.
Okay. Yeah. So these are the logo designs that I've been doing. So this is a phase where I was just strictly practicing, obviously Illustrator, and then creating logos. Again, for me, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. My dog's scratching the door. Sorry.
No worries.
It's all right. If anything can go wrong, it will.
Yeah, we've
Oh my
been there.
goodness. So sorry. So sorry.
It's okay.
Because my kids left, and then my dog's like lonely. Anyways,
Aw.
okay, so these are all contests that I was doing in 99 Designs. At that time, I didn't really care so much about winning the contest, but more of a practice. So for me, I seriously got so much better in Illustrator by just doing these contests, because it wasn't a time crunch. You had to they go multiple phases. Like you will go round one, and then you go to the final round, and they will only give you like 3 days to create something and then make revisions and stuff like that. So I learned how to work fast and kind of tips and tricks how to do Illustrator.
Michelle,
So these
logos are awesome.
Yeah, the logos are getting some love.
Thank you.
They are really good.
Yeah,
I
they're
have to say.
cool.
Oh, thank you. But if you see it, they're more on the cute side.
Yeah.
And then, so the thing about 99 Design is where you could either do contest, or the client could directly hire you.
Yeah.
So this was the first illustration job I got. So this person, I participated in the logo contest. I didn't win, but they still liked my style. And then they contacted me later saying, oh, can you do some sets of illustrations? So this is like the very first like illustration I did for them. It was like for a music group. So that's going around the city. So you could see like here, the pyramid.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's that. But all, again, I was doing this in 99 Designs. And then
I like that we've gone from 1 like to like 33 at this point.
Yeah, you can see them.
Yeah, but you can see there's a lot of them. I've been pretty much creating like 3 logos a day at this time. I was just going crazy. So that's why it's like so many. Oh, and another thing is, remember that heart that I did way back? I actually create this into a iMessage sticker at that time. So that's what this was about.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah, so I was like trying to, maybe I could just give this a try.
This is, you can't see, but where you're at the moment, you've just scrolled, but it was very Honest Designer logo-esque, that was, that illustration.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's okay, you scroll past it now, but I was pointing, so I realize you can't see what I'm pointing at.
Oh, you know what? I actually participated in that birthday you guys did. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I remember
that was like 2017.
That's
yeah.
so cool. Can you participate in the next one? Because I think with where your skills are at now, you'll probably win it. And we tend to give away some pretty amazing things.
Yeah, I was like, so again, this is a phase where I was experimenting, trying to do more. And then, okay, it's really long, but so this is the time that I got into lettering. So January 2018. This is the time when Lauren Hom came out with the homework prompt. So this was my very first lettering that I did. And so I did had iPad Pro, but I was only using it for sketches. I was just afraid to put colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this was my first attempt kind of to do lettering plus colors and using Procreate. So this is kind of like the beginning of that lettering thing. And when I started, it was really about just practicing. Because if you look at logo, it makes a so much better logo if you actually hand draw it instead of using a font. So that's something that I always wanted to do, but just didn't know how and didn't have the skills for it. So in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just practice lettering, kind of like, again, a side thing to do, which, again, once I start doing it, I just, fell in love with it. Yeah. So you'll see, these are all the homework that I did. And here, like, I would upload some videos, like here and there. I don't upload every single time, but there are some. So I was doing all those homework and doing logo at the same time. And the moment that I decided to open up a new account was this piece. So first time I got more than 1,000 likes on this piece. That was like mind-blowing to me. I never had anything that's close to that likes. And I was like, I was thinking, okay, lettering is very different from logo design. So this is a point where I thought maybe I would kind of split the two.
Yeah.
So if you see from there on, I still kind of uploaded like logo stuff here. But if you go to my other account, that's the beginning. So this is my very first post on my other account, Just Drawing Words. And the name came Just Drawing Words because I was really just drawing it. Because I didn't really learn calligraphy or anything like that. Really didn't have the basics of like lettering. So that's how I created my name, because I was really just drawing it.
I would say, by the way, if we've got some questions coming in, if you guys put them in the ask a question bit down the bottom, we're going to tackle those after Sonia's demo and get through all of them.
Yes, I'm almost there. So then when I created this piece, I was like, okay, why did so many people like this one comparing to some of the other ones I did? And so I tried to recreate that. So you would see here about like 9 posts. It's very similar styles. I used a similar color, kind of similar theme. And you could see the heart here. Like, as I said, I kind of peek it. It's there here and there. Yeah, I love the heart. So, and this one was actually James Lewis. He had this prompt going on about our time has value. So I was like participating that, and then in my own style. And so, I did that for like a little bit. And then I kind of stopped. I was like busy with my life and stuff like that. So I kind of took a break. But that's the thing. When regardless of likes and Instagram and whatever, I always ask myself, like, what do I really enjoy doing? Like, if there was no Instagram, there was nothing like that existed, what will I still do? And drawing was one of them. And lettering was definitely that. So even though I had like absolutely no audience, I know I would do it. Yeah. So that kind of tells me like, this is like for me. And so at that point, I just, went to grab the iPad again, and I'm still drawing, right? So I just, again, continue doing that. And some of them are, again, the homework. That was like the best way that I practiced my skills. Like this one, I got a lot of likes on this one on this account, and this was part of the homework.
It's worth saying as well, like that's a great way to get exposure, participating in some of these challenges.
Definitely.
Bigger accounts reshare you in their stories.
100%.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, Sonia, like that's so inspiring to hear. Like, I don't think I've ever had someone say, if none of this existed, what's something I'd still do? Like that to me is gold.
No, because sometimes I wonder, like, kids are asleep. So for those who don't know, I'm also like a full-time stay-at-home mom. I have 2 kids. So when they're sleeping like at 9:30 and I'm in bed curling up, like, and drawing till like 2:00 in the morning. And sometimes I ask myself, like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe I've been doing this for like many hours, And that tells me I must really love this, right? Because I didn't mind. The light is not on. I can still be anywhere and just sit down and start drawing,
Yeah, I love
Anyway, yeah. Okay, so that happened. And then this is all... and then this piece was the very first time I got featured on Good Type. So that was kind of mind-blowing because Good Type is, for those who don't know, it's an account, it's an Instagram account. They feature like lettering artists, calligraphy artists on their account, and they have about 1 million followers. So when this one got featured, I just gained so much followers. It was kind of mind-blowing, really. Yeah. So again, all of my lettering is either what I'm going through at the moment or kind of participating in a challenge. So yeah, so these are more the recent, so it's more the recent pieces. And I always
you can see it really start to develop.
Yeah. And I always try to do this kind of thank you pose for 2 reasons. Number one is I really appreciative that people actually like peek into my stuff, but also it's a good kind of a benchmark to go back to. Like I would not necessarily you have to like look at the followers and stuff, but it's kind of a way to see, how much you grew, right?
Yeah.
So I always try to do that. So I'm like, I just drew 500 not too long ago, and like, I have to draw 1,000. Like that's so cool, kind of thing. So so these are definitely more of my recent pieces. And as I said earlier, kind of one thing that I try to do this year is to do more stuff that scares me. And one of them is being an introvert, that putting my face out there. So I'm trying really hard to kind of do more Friday introductions kind of thing. So you will see more of my face than like my older account.
And thank you for like being on here with us. Like that's amazing.
I know that's part of it.
Like thank you for coming on here and putting yourself out of your comfort zone.
So you'll see my face here again, and these are definitely.
Did I just see Tom's face in there at some point as well?
Yeah. So shout out Sonia. She did the podcast artwork as it's known for my podcast.
Right. It was actually a fan art. So I did Christo. I don't know if anybody is a fan of The Future, and I'm a big fan. So I did that as a fan art. And then I was like, this was so much fun. Let me do another person. And then Tom popped into my mind.
I love it. I love it so much that with your permission, I use it now.
So Sam just said in the comments that she needs to see how you do the gradients and textures, but you had actually had the textures in mind for today, right, Sonia?
Yes.
So yes. Good luck there, Sam.
So one of the things that if you look at my pieces, there's something that's very consistent throughout. So one of them is I always have this half-tone kind of like texture. So that's kind of like my, in a way, signature look. Because if you look at every single piece, it's subtle, but it's there. This one is actually hard to see, but let's say this one's a little bit brighter. You would see on the background, I always have that texture. So I'll show you guys how to do that one. It's so easy. Like,
Also, that really fun.
Yeah, that's
probably you guys are gonna look at it, you're like, oh, that was it. And another thing I like to do is adding that gradient, kind of grainy texture. So if you see, this is something that, again, you will see in a lot of my work. And then you can see the halftone texture here too, right? I always use those halftone and then the gradients. I'll show you how to do that. It's just a Procreate brush. Seriously, super easy. All the stuff I did do is like so easy. Okay, so that's it for the Instagram.
I love it.
Amazing.
And, yeah, the fact that you've gone from, you know, those humble beginnings to now growing incredibly quickly. I feel like every time I go on your profile, you've got another like 500 to 1,000 followers and great community building around it.
I am super grateful. Like, seriously, I'm seriously, I don't have a words for that. Seriously, thank you so much for following.
Also,
okay,
if you guys, like, I know Tom mentioned we're going to go through some questions after,
yeah.
but Sonia is also in our forum, aren't you, Sonia? So if, I know Sam said she's got too many questions, so if you do have questions, Sonia will be able to jump in and grab those from the forum afterwards.
Yes, definitely.
But don't be worried about asking too many questions, because if we don't get around to them today, we can do it later at some point.
Definitely. And you guys could DM me too. I respond to all my DMs and stuff. So whatever feels comfortable to you, leave it in the comment or DM. Either way works.
Amazing.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for showing the evolution. We definitely want to feature you in that upcoming show when we put that together.
Alrighty.
And you said, are you going to demo on the iPad?
Yeah.
Procreate?
Let's do that.
Watch this magic.
I can't wait.
Magic.
If anyone wants to know how to do this, watch and learn, my friend.
You'll see my face first. Surprised.
So yeah, there's a QuickTime player.
Yeah.
And obviously she just got to connect her.
There you go.
Computer.
You see it? Okay. So
Yeah.
for
We need to tell Ian.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I show you, I prepared something little something. So I drew this for you guys.
I haven't
Okay,
seen this.
so when I did this,
amazing.
I didn't know that.
that.
So this is from an app. So I didn't know it changes if you're on the desktop and an iPad. But for the mobile, there was exactly 10 people showing. So I thought design cuts is 10 letters, 10 people. It'll be perfect. But I'm sorry if I missed. I know there's a couple other people. I'm so sorry if I missed.
No, that's fine. Sonia, afterwards, you able to send that to me so I can get our guys.
Of course. Yes. But it wasn't really
Thank
quick
you.
one. It's not something that's super nice, but hopefully.
Thank
Okay.
you.
It's amazing.
so
Thank you.
This is me.
Also, guys, I'm happy to say that, you know, I want Sonia to be a real case study in terms of what she's doing with her consistency and developing her style working. And I'm happy to say that we've hired her for a top secret project that we're working on, that we're kind of midway through, which is looking incredible. And we hope that we're going to work with her on the Design Cuts rebrand, which is coming up, to kind of bring some of this handmade illustrative style into the brand, which I think is going to be amazing. Yeah, like I love from the you know, initial just kind of knowing your work on Instagram, it's now developed to these big projects, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so if you see that these textures on the background, right? So I'll show you how to do that. I'll get rid of it first. It's seriously okay. So there's no textures, right? So all I'm doing really is using a brush. So this, I actually bought it from Design Cuts. It's the True Grid Texture Supply. It's called Beat Tones. So that's what I use. And if you go all the way down, there's something called Dot 2A. So that's really it. You just have to choose the right color for it. I try to use the color that I used before. So that's one. You choose a brush, and all you really need to do is play with the blending mode. So let's say I'll just make my brush really big, just color it around like this, right? So easy, right? So that's what I do to all the background. So that's one, but it's too dark, right? So all you need to really do is change the blending mode. So N just means normal. So under normal, there's a couple options. You just go multiply. So it kind of blends in with that background, and just change the opacity level. That's really it. And then you can see these textures. Yeah. So that's one.
That is simple. I love it.
Right? That's the thing.
It looks
I
so
don't
good there.
have any.
What I love
Yeah.
in your work is it adds texture, but it still looks clean.
Yeah. It's really simple. Like I do, for those who don't know, I do kind of upload these mini tutorials on my Instagram. But the reason it's so mini is because it is really simple. I don't have any special tips and tricks. So another thing is this grainy shade, right? You see it on the D, like C, right? So those are another thing that I use quite often. So I'm going to just show you how I do on this E, for example. Again, so these are all my squares that I have.
Awesome.
So you just have to,
can we zoom in on the E just so we can see the texture up close?
Oh, so this is the D. So you see how
Amazing.
the grainy textures around it. So it kind of creates that shadowy look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I do on a lot of my work. So all you need to do here is whatever shape you have, you create a clipping mask. What all that means is, let's say, for example, this box. If I create a clipping mask for that, then whatever I draw outside that box will not show. So for example, I'll just use a regular pen to show you. Like, let's say I'm just using this. If you draw, you see that? It doesn't go beyond that box. So that's so awesome about clipping masks. So the first step is you have to create a clipping mask. All you do is you click on that layer and then select clipping mask. Oh, I just redid it, but like that. Let me just do this.
Yeah, hopefully that helps zooming in. That's why I asked, because initially I couldn't see it, but now I can see the background texture a lot easier.
Yeah.
But sorry, if it lags a bit, hopefully it will get clearer.
Oh, just choose a color. I try to choose maybe something a little bit darker. But again, it's the same concept. You just color it, and then you could play with the blending mode and opacity. It's the same concept on all the textures that I do.
What blending mode do you normally use?
I use multiply.
Yeah,
multiply just means the first layer and then the second layer is multiplying. That's how I like to think of it. So it's kind of like a transparency paper where it both shows. It multiplies. So that's the one I use. And then, so this one I'm using, again, from True Grid Texture Supply, called Grain Shader. That's what I use. And then this is the brush I use all the time, 5B brush. And then, again, go back to that layer and just, oh, this is a little bit too big. Just do that. Just color it like this. Like that. And again, it's too dark, right? So all you have to do is go back to that layer. N just means normal. Click on that, go multiply, and lower the opacity to your liking. So you can see, right? If you lower the opacity, it looks a little bit more natural.
It's amazing how much depth and visual interest it adds compared to being like 100%.
Yeah, exactly. It's very simple, but it makes it look so much nicer if you add the texture. Right?
That sort of hand cut papery kind of feel as well.
Yeah, it's like more charming.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's it. So I'll finish the rest and I'll give it to you. All right, so that's all my demonstration. Really easy, right?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Super, super useful.
We're just, I just saw a comment come up there asking if we can just pop a link into the texture pack that you're referring to. So Tom is having a look for that now.
We might need to pop it in the thread later, because I am not finding it immediately. But yeah, we're to get out.
I can find it for you guys, because I seriously bought this. This was the one of the bundle packs you guys sold.
So it was in a bundle. Okay, we are going to get this stuff in the marketplace soon, but I've just put a link in the chat. There's a ton of Procreate stuff in there, and there's some very similar Procreate brushes in the markesse, but otherwise we'll get that one in soon.
If you let me know afterwards, Sonia, then I can
we'll do
product in for the rest of the guys. See if we can get hold of it.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's it. Let's see.
And thank you for the original piece. We need to like blow it up and get it on the wall.
Yeah, defo.
Oh, but it's not really well done. I just did it really quick.
These are all the little bits and bobs that people have sent us so far, so we'll stick you over there, definitely.
Alrighty.
So we've got a couple of questions that have come through.
Okay.
If everybody has any others, please put them in there, and we'll go through them now. But I know there's lots of you on the call today, so please do get your questions in if you can, and we'll go through them now if that's okay with you, Sonia.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So I've got it open here. Unfortunately, the box opens over your face, so I can't see you right now, but we'll ask the questions.
That's okay.
So Michelle has asked, how do you use so many colors and yet still harmonize?
You know what? I think I just always loved colors. So I don't know if I have a good answer for that. But there's a couple ways I choose colors. Maybe that will help if I just walk through the process. So it's either sometimes I have a very good idea what color I want to use. And I tend to choose color based on like emotion. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say. So for example, if I'm feeling blue, for example, and there's a good piece in my one of the feed. It says the quote was "Comparison will kill you." That was the quote. So clearly, it's a kind of a dark message, and the picture I drew was like this person with a hole in it. So then I will choose the color that's definitely dark. So it's kind of the emotion. It depends on the emotion I want to kind of provoke from the viewer standpoint, right? So sometimes I'll have a very good idea. Okay, I want to go dark or dark blue, something like that. Or sometimes I will just go to dribble and kind of see. I would say I want to draw something really happy, but I know I want to use a popping color, but I don't necessarily know what palettes I want to use.
Yeah,
I will search happy in dribble and kind of see what comes up. And there's always something that clicks with me, and I kind of start from that color palette. Mm-hmm. So honestly, yeah, it is. But color has been something that I always love to do. If you look at my logo designs too, it's very colorful.
Yeah, you can tell that.
Yeah, so either or. Sometimes I have a very good idea where I want to start. So if I say pink, then I'll probably start with pink on the focal point, and then I will kind of adjust the color. What looks good, I'll just kind of experiment. Or I'll just start from somebody else's color palette in a way and adjust it from there.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah.
But it's kind of by eye, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't really follow the color palette, the like color cafe, that kind of thing. I don't really do that. But I do look at some other people's color palette once in a while at Dribble. Yeah.
Awesome. So let us know in the comments. But Sonia, I don't know if you've seen this. We recently put together an article where we got a bunch of designers that we work with in our marketplace to share their color palettes.
Yeah,
so
I actually did on that today.
Oh, cool.
So this morning I had posted a link to the article section. If you haven't seen it, about 5 articles in there, but the color one is one of them. Yeah. So I did actually put that in the forum this morning.
And
great minds, Tom, great minds.
And I love your colors. That's one of the reasons we wanted to hire you, Sonia. So I'd love if you could contribute to either that article or a future one. We'd love to feature your stuff. But yeah, I've just put it in the chat, guys. Check it out and let us know in the comments what you think. But I mean, who have we got in there? We've got some really cool people. So people like Lisa Gland and Creators Couture, Pretty Little Lions, like all of these people who are real naturals like Sonia at picking color palettes, they've literally shared their most the ones that they love using.
And it's so funny because when you look at them, like you could cover their names up and I could probably take a guess at who they are.
Yep.
Because it's like their signature thing, you know?
Yeah, but we need to get you in that because I think your palette is really awesome.
Okay, cool.
Let me just grab the forum thread as well because I've got a couple of questions about that. So give me 2 seconds.
Okay, no worries.
It's down here somewhere.
So just while that loads up, what's the next question for Sonia?
Oh yeah, let's get the question going and then I'll find it. That makes much more sense, Tom.
So Sam asks, when you want to go about drawing letters, how many references do you use? Do you freehand? Or do you work from existing fonts to keep things neat and tidy?
No, it's all freehand. All the lettering that I do is freehand. I don't use fonts for them. Yeah.
Amazing. And Sam, in part of the same question, asks, are there any learning resources for hand lettering that you would recommend?
So for me, when I started, I knew nothing about lettering. So I just look at other people's work. Really, it's just, I think the most important thing, and this is true for like logo design too, when I was doing it, is training the eyes. Because when you're starting out, you don't really know what looks good because you think it looks good, but when you look back, it really doesn't. So I think the first step is to kind of train your eyes. And how do you do that? Is just looking as much as stuff. Like I go to Dribble, I go to Instagram, really Pinterest, just training the eyes. That's first step. Another thing is I do try to watch some tutorials when I have the chance, and I go to Skillshare for that, but I haven't really done, so I feel like you learn so much by actually doing it. So for example, when I started out, and I still do once in a while, is that I want to letter something and I have a good idea, like I kind of want to make it playful. And then I will kind of look at who's good at that, right? So I'll look at those lettering artists and see how they draw the R. Like, oh, in this case, you draw the T like this. And you could kind of see, for example, like the T, if you draw it like this, it's a little bit playful compared to drawing it a line. So you can kind of pick up on those. Like, oh, because again, my focus is kind of on the emotion. I know it's kind of weird that it's not necessarily trying to make the best looking letter, but it's more like, what do I want my audience to kind of feel kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing like a playful piece, I will focus on those little details. Like, oh, if I make the person jump, how should they jump that makes it look a little bit more playful than just jumping, or like hand should be this way or kind of thing, right? Yeah. So again, going back to learning the letters, I feel like it's just observing and practicing, because I honestly think that the more you draw, the better you get. Like, I think that's the answer.
I could see going through the evolution of your feed, that logo design bit where you were doing 3 logos a day, that progressed your skills infinitely.
Yes. Like
I totally remember that phase, like, because I started doing contests as well. That's
right.
And funny enough, when you're churning out that volume of work constantly, it is the most rapid way to get more confident and develop a style.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. It's just practice, really.
Yeah.
And
but I think practicing, like, if you practice aimlessly with no intent for the work, it's not as effective as when you're doing like these little briefs. So the contests are great for that, or like the challenges. You're all doing that because you've got a suggested outcome in mind, and that makes you do better work than just like, I'm just going to make something completely random today, I think.
Right. That's actually very true. Because I know in the design industry, like 99 design is like, oh no, like it's like a bad thing to do. And I could see that. I know where that's coming from. But for me, who did not have the background, like I was trying to do something creative market. I didn't get that chance just because I didn't have the portfolio and all that stuff. For me, who's somebody who just had no background, just starting out, just trying to create something and practice, I think it is a good way, because it kind of puts you on the timeline too. Like, oh, you got to do it in 3 days. Then you have to like think fast, right? And then you have to create fast and stuff like that. And like what Tom said, you're actually working with a real creative brief. This is a real client looking for a real logo. It's not just a made up thing. So you do have restrictions, because when you do, like, passion project is good too, but you're doing whatever you want. So there's no restrictions. So it's a lot easier in that sense. But when you're doing like contest, or if you're working with real clients, you can't always, even though you get the creative freedom, there's some kind of restrictions you have to follow. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a good practice in that sense. I'm not promoting 99 design, but from my experience, based on my experience, it helped me more than hurt me. And I actually found real client work through them. Because at one point, I didn't have to do contests anymore, because they would directly come to me and hire me to make a logo or something like that. So I didn't have to continuously just doing contests.
So we've got a couple of questions I think has naturally been answered in you explaining your color palette and kind of like how you've evolved into the style that you have now. But the other question that we've got from Jay very nicely actually leads us into your homework assignment, actually, Sonia. So Jay's question is that, well, it's more of a statement, first of all. I love your blend of illustration and typography together. They have such a nice vibe. Are most of these commissions or personal work? If not commissions, where do you sell them?
So before Tom hired me, I had no commission work. So the commission work I did was all logo. I never had any commission work for lettering and illustration. And Tom, my very first client.
I didn't realize it was actually.
Yeah. So for lettering, I have not. It was all logo. But so Tom hired me to do like illustrations, logo, but it was a lettering project. So all the stuff you see in my Instagram right now is all personal work. But the good news is I just got hired to do another commission work, which I cannot say yet, but it's my second client.
Amazing.
It is going to be like a social media post. It is going to be illustration plus lettering. So I'm kind of like starting out on this thing. So yeah, but whatever you see on Instagram right now, it's all personal work, just sharing what I'm going through and just communicating with the lettering community. Yeah.
So I think if that's okay with you, Sonia, we're going to jump into the homework assignment. So what I'm going to do is share my screen and have a look at last week's, because I know this week's is going to kind of involve with that slightly anyway. So we're going to have a look at the assignments from last week. So thank you to everyone who entered. Let me just get my screen shared, going to the weird vortex.
Okay.
So we start back up at the top. You guys can see that, yeah, because I can't see what you can see now. So are you seeing all this?
Yes.
Perfect.
Cool.
So we've got Iskander, first of all, who I don't think was on the call today. But James's assignment was, you probably better explain it.
Oh yeah, because you weren't here.
I wasn't here for this. I was on a sick day, sorry.
Yeah, so it was to hand letter or design a quote that's really meaningful to you, and he kind of cited like key moments in his life which often inspired his work. So people really ran with that, I think.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what we've got. So do your homework. I think this was
so good.
Iskander actually posted another one, so
cool.
Yeah, this came kind of off the back of that.
Cool. I love both, but I love how he's mimicked James's 3D style.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always look at it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he does it. So I teach myself. But yeah, Iskander absolutely nailed that. Yeah.
That's so good.
Okay, so Biggie, who I think was on the call today, absolutely.
Oh wow, that is beautiful.
Really beautiful, isn't it?
Damn.
Guys, I commented on this on Instagram this morning, actually.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Really, really pretty.
One of my faves.
Barbara.
That's very cool.
Lovely.
You deserve better. Nice.
Love that.
If we had more time, I would love to go through all the backstories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys opening up as well, sharing all this personal
that was really
stuff.
great. Nick, I think you saw this one on Instagram, didn't you? I feel like you might have.
I like the little retro.
Oh, that's so good.
Beautiful textures.
Great texture.
They're a talented bunch, aren't they, Sonia?
Yeah, they're all so talented. Oh my goodness.
And Millie. That's really cute. I love that.
Again, everything's making me think of Game of Thrones right now. I'm so in the midst.
Because it's nearly going to come back. Lady T.
Oh, wow.
Love that.
That's hair goals.
Yeah, really cool.
I feel like you should rock that hair.
Yeah,
get down
we
the salon.
expect to see that next week, Lady T. And this is Michelle.
Oh, I agree. I like that quote.
Really sweet, right?
And is that a familiar font?
I was going to say, is that not?
I think that might be the Honest Designer script.
Font.
Yeah. Did you see that, Sonia?
Yeah. I did. That's so cool because because when I did your podcast too, people was asking, because you know how like when I did it, the honest part, I actually made it exactly like the Honest Designers because it was kind of like a spin-off in a way. Yeah, and people will comment like, "Oh, what font is that?" Or like, "Oh, I like that lettering style." I'm like, "Oh, that's not mine." Now I could, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, that's cool.
So, did you want to introduce this week's assignment?
Yeah, so it feels like some people actually kind of did the homework that I was going to ask. Yeah, so I also feel the same way where if you look at a quote, some quote like speaks to you and you kind of have that feeling, right? So, and a lot of the people have already quoted the quote. So my thought was, what about you add some illustration that goes with it? And again, it doesn't have to be something extraordinary or something like complicated. It could be something very simple, something that can complement to the quote that you letter. So that's the homework.
The assignment in the chat there, the thread that's in the forum, which I've created already. So if you did the assignment last week and you didn't illustrate it yet, feel free to build on that one. If you did some illustrations already, which I know some of you have, either continue to build on that or pick another quote that resonates with you. Don't forget to tag, obviously, us and Sonia on Instagram so she can check them out.
And we're going to link up in the button in a second, Sonia's Instagram.
Yeah, and hashtag Design Cuts Community, hashtag Hangout Homework. Post them in the forum, get them everywhere, and let's see what you guys create. Michelle, she's on top of things.
You're super on top of things.
Do you know why? It's because I wasn't here last week and I'm off tomorrow, so I felt bad and I felt like I had to just be really prepared.
Make up for being a part-timer.
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Michelle, for appreciating my organisation skills.
I actually was chatting with Ian last night when we did the Honest Designers show, and I think I mentioned your work, Sonia, and he started saying how he can see lettering getting increasingingly saturated and busy.
I know.
How he thought it was like, actually the future is going to be illustration and lettering combined, because
really?
What's really taking off, and I think you're like a prime example of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're setting the new trend, and I think it's wise for everyone to jump on that. Like, you don't want to be just a letterer. This is a great way to kind of infuse your style and personality.
Right. But the funny thing is, the reason I started lettering and illustration together, it was when I was doing the homework, I realized how there's so many good people. They're just so good at lettering. And then when I checked the industry, there's people who's really good at lettering or they're really good at illustration. So at that time, I was more confident in drawing. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just combine the two so that I could kind of stand out from those who's so good in lettering. So that's how I started. But it's funny how, like, a lot of people liked it and they liked the idea. Yeah. So it's actually,
there's that thing about how people have different ways of learning, right? So some people like to have it written down and some people like to have it in help sheets, spreadsheets, emails, whatever it might be. Other people need to see it. They need to hear it. They need to visualize it. I know that I'm a much more visual person. Like, if there's anything to me on a message, I'm like, let's talk about it so I can visualize everything.
Right.
And that's been like that all my life throughout school. I didn't do well with like homework assignments because it was just too heavy written for me. And you know, when you have both, you're reaching to both people, you know?
Right.
So I love
it's a strong communication tool, right? Exactly. Like the code itself is very strong, but if you have something kind of like give you that extra, it's kind of, I don't know, for me, when I see the quote, like even with a picture, I kind of go like, oh, like that goes so well kind of thing. So I'm just doing that with drawing. So yeah, I'm so glad. I'm seriously so grateful.
we can't wait to go and see everyone's designs. I can see Smith is going to join in. Can't wait to see what you come up with, Smith, who's been amazing in the community recently.
I think I've been DMing with Smith actually as well.
Smith's
on
awesome.
Instagram. So hey.
But yeah, we can't wait to see what you guys create. Please, every single person, click on. Lady T said I'm falling asleep.
He was actually making notes. He was just
scribbling away. Don't worry. I'll just let you ladies talk. That's fine.
Moment there, actually.
Yeah, we can't wait to see your designs as always. And every single person who hasn't yet clicked Sonia's Instagram and followed her, please go check it out because her work's amazing and it will inspire you. Richard just asked about the homework brief. It will be there in even more detail in the forum thread, which we linked up if you check it out, Richard.
Yeah, I have created the thread already. I have linked it in the chat, but you'll find it in the usual section under Hangout Homework. It's live, so all the details are there. And Sonia's very kindly offered to jump in and be a part of the forum. She's created her profile already, so she's around if you need her.
Awesome.
Can I just say two more things? I just wanted to talk about projects that's going on, if that's okay with you guys.
Well, as long as it's not our top secret project, because that's...
No, it's not. It's not.
No people say then.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so the two things is one of them, there's this lady, the account called Lucia Types. So she reached out to about 30 female lettering artists. So we all kind of created this feminism piece that she's posting on, typing feminism. I'll also leave it in the comments.
I've seen this on Instagram.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I've seen this.
Yeah, I've been on the comments.
Yeah, so it's all like lettering artists, female lettering artists.
30 people contributed to one piece.
No, so we all
Okay.
create our own piece, and then we're all posting it into this account called Typing Feminism.
Oh, amazing.
It's really cool, and I'm so honored to like be part of that.
Oh,
so if you guys want to check out, please do. So that's the first one.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I will leave it in the comments. But yeah, the account. Another thing is,
we're going to link it up actually now.
I think just double check this in the chat, Sonia. I'm sure this is the right one. Is it? I'm sure that's the one.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I think
we can see you. Yeah. I love it.
There's me. So and there's more coming.
I like how they laid it out actually.
Yeah, and they're posting like one new piece every single day, and there's some famous artists in there too. So I'm not gonna reveal who it is. You guys have to follow them to find out. Okay, so that's the first one. Another one is I kind of mentioned while I was scrolling through my Instagram is I have a passion project called Universe_Buddy. I don't know if you want to look that up. Universe_Buddy. So it's very
as well.
Yeah, so that's on Instagram as well. It's Universe_Buddy, Buddy. Very similar to that heart that I was doing. So the idea is I kind of personify the universe. If the universe were like this, not a person, but like this character, how would it look like? And it's kind of like, it's positivity kind of thing where when you're going through a hard time, I always believe that universe is on my side. So what would universe will say to me? Like a buddy kind of thing. So that's where the idea came from.
They are so cute.
Unbelievably, Sonia, please can you do an even stronger job marketing that, because I follow what I thought was all of your stuff. I'm pretty close to your content. I had no idea about these things. So I think you should shout about them more.
I do try to do it once in a while. I do updates every Friday. And again, it's just a way to kind of get doses of positivity. It's my mind is like, if the universe were to give me advice when I'm going through a hard time, like a buddy would, like a best friend would, like what would the universe say? It's kind of that idea. So it's kind of this cute, blobby looking universe with a planet sidekick. So that's something that I'm trying to do for this whole year. So if you guys are interested, it's not necessarily like a lettering account, but I do letter everything. It's a lettering, illustration, same concept. It's a little bit different than what I usually do. It's more simplistic, but it's more toward just positivity.
Yeah,
you don't have to
everyone needs to positivity in their lives.
I love it. That's one of those accounts that just makes me happy.
It just makes you smile. I was just looking at it like you guys can see what up on camera. I'm like, I just love the way your mind works. Like you're amazing. It's really been special talking to you today.
Yeah, Sonia, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing so much. Thank you for being so inspiring. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I can do this for another hour.
I know, right? It's so hard to not just chat away all day. And I'm a really chatty person, as most of these guys know. And I will just keep going and going. And Tom's like, show time.
I'm the same. I think if I didn't have a podcast to record, I'd be here for another hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, really, really appreciate you, Sonia. And I'm sure we're going to do a lot more stuff involving you with the community. Because we love what you're doing.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Everyone in the comments, I can see you are already.
Yeah, let's all give it up for Sonia. A round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget your homework this week, guys. And we will see you same time next week. Yes. Thank you very much for joining.
See you next week, and I'll chat soon, Sonia.
See you soon. Bye.